Hello, my name is Miho Tanaka with Tech Berlin at Tech Open Air, and I am here with Miha Ciglar, who is the founder and CEO of Ultrasonic, which is a audio technologies company. Yeah, thanks so much for coming over. You have done so much in the field of audio, from, creating this research lab, I guess, at Research Institute and international audio festivals. I mean, how did you get into all of this? What was your first experiences with building things and being very technical with creating very, very controlled sound, for example?
Yes, I was studying electrical engineering and acoustics in Graz in Austria, and the problem was that when I returned to Slovenia, where I grew up, I wanted to live there as well, so there was no real environment where I could connect to, and no real research going on in the field where I was interested in. So audio technologies, and no real companies that are developing products. So I needed to start doing my own things, starting my own companies, my own research institutes. So from the start, everything was based on arts, more or less. So there was research going on in the audio technologies and artistic productions and public events. So I wanted to just bring people who are doing the same things around the world at academic institutions to Slovenia to show what they're doing to our local community. So this started in 2008, and we're still doing the festival. It's called Earzoom Sonic Arts Festival. It will be on in September, where we will be hosting the Music Tech Fest. Actually, it's like an international platform, so we'll have them there this year. And this is still one of the crucial components, I think, in my work to network, to connect with people abroad, to travel a lot, to bring people over to see what's going on in Slovenia. But in parallel to that, I'm trying to build up this company, the startup company, Ultrasonic Audio Technologies, and make new products, and just also do real research and discover new things. This is something I feel it's very important, not just to buy sensors from China and put them in a box and sell them as a product.
So what particular area are you kind of focused on for the research at the moment?
Yeah, so it's acoustic. It's acoustics, nonlinear acoustics. We are developing directional sound.
Right.
We're one of very few companies actually that are doing this. We more or less have 2 or 3 competitors using the same kind of technology. It's still a rather new field, although the technology has been around for several years in academia and research. So a large amount also is open source and is accessible, therefore, for startups. And we're focusing sound. We're creating very narrow beams of sound and delivering it to specific locations where sound is needed. There's a lot of different situations where you don't want the sound to be everywhere, but just where you want it to be, and not pollute the environment and not interfere with other sounds which are useful at different locations within the same room. So therefore, directional sound is very interesting.
That's very cool. So you sort of, I guess this is all about having deep sort of knowledge into waveforms and how they spread, and kind of doing Fourier kind of stuff. And there's a lot of maths and physics involved. You need to have an understanding on the physicality and the phenomenon that are forming the basis of the technology that you're developing. It's not easy to understand. It's also not easy to explain in an understandable language, let's say, to people who are not into technology. So, I was talking to a friend who supplies the internet at where's that? Where they all dance naked in the desert. What's that one?
Burning Man.
Yeah. So he's in charge of distributing the internet, and it was really interesting talking to him because there was a lot of overlap between the kind of things that you do in terms of directional sound and distribution of internet and radio, because it's all about understanding how waves move and the kind of
wave propagation. It's an interesting field, and there's different subfields within that, and sound is just one of the domains that you can apply this knowledge to. And it's exciting. I think the sound offers just so many possibilities, either in acoustics or in electronic form, processing, synthesis, analysis of sound. There's a lot of tools that enable you to do magical things with
That's very cool.
So
But you also create lots of different interfaces, like you do interfaces in controlling sound through computer vision, I imagine sort of through gesture kind of things.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and other kind of tactile, non-tactile sort of controls. Tell me a little more about these other sort of
So the directional
interfaces.
sound and the directional speaker that we are eventually marketing as a product was a side effect. It was an accident, actually. So the main thing that I was developing at this point, that was in 2010, was an interface to control music with and to interact with music in a different domain, let's say. I was always interested how to experience music in a different way, not just the acoustic impression that music gives you, but also a tactile impression, which also music gives you. Imagine if you're standing at a very loud concert, you would feel the music throughout your body. But I was interested how to control it, how to focus it in a specific location, you know, and have control over it. So I created this interface that really accumulates the acoustic energy in one point in space by using ultrasound, which is inherently focused, and it really worked. I mean, you can really focus this acoustic energy so that it becomes tangible. You can actually grab this piece of air which is vibrating intensively with the frequencies of the music that you're using to modulate the ultrasonic carrier. And so my idea was to mold the music, the sound itself, to be able to grab it and to change its acoustic appearance, but at the same time to get an immediate feedback about the tactile appearance of music. It's basically the same information as if you would, as you get if you touch a speaker, for example. You just feel the vibration. It carries a lot of information, the tactile signal, and it's a good alternative point of view to your subject of creation, let's say. It gives you, it can motivate you to change things, to guide music in different direction. So I started with with the research in the tactile feedback by using just electricity. So
But that sounds a bit dangerous.
Yeah, it is, but it's fun, you know. It was a good combination of developing new interfaces, so new ways how to perform music, and new ways how to experience music. So I was using just feedback circuits, electronic feedback circuits, and I was including my whole body into this circuit. So when I was moving, I was changing the conductivity and the resistance of the circuit, and but at the same time I was experiencing the audio signal going through my body. You know, it's sometimes it was dangerous, but it was a good motivation not to fall into cliches when doing musical composition and performance, you know, because sometimes music would sound nice, but then it would not feel so nice, so you would need to change it.
Wow.
So it's an innovative approach how to create new music, which you would not be able to think of if you would just think in the musical domain, you know. So going into other domains to let them motivate you to change stuff.
Well, that's almost sort of, you know, you were giving people synesthesia in a sense, and that's really cool. Well, so a little bit about Tech Open Air. But this is your first year at Tech Open Air? Yeah. Cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Were you here the whole day yesterday?
Yeah.
Nice. What was your impression?
Oh, it's just huge. There's so many people. I can't follow all the events. I wish I could. And there's, you know, I was talking more to people than listening to the presentations. So it's amazing. It's a huge festival. It's glad to be here. Yeah.
What kind of things have stuck out for you the most in terms of, like, what did you enjoy the most yesterday?
I saw the presentation about this tube thing, the train going in this, traveling in this vacuum tubes.
Cool.
I think it's exciting.
The Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop, sorry. It's really exciting to see such ambitious projects which are completely unthinkable to be realized without major support of countries, you know, public funding. And I think it's amazing that startups come up with ideas like that and try to pursue the goals, and it's good to meet them here.
Cool. Oh, well, thank you so much for your time in doing this interview.
Thank you.
This was an interview for Tech Berlin. Thanks. Bye.